I saw Kara lunge forward and perform an awkward, curled slap to one of the guy's faces, like he was in a cat fight. It looked painful, but it was not as effective strategy. Claws. He uses the battling with claws. Tried to bro's care, was stopped by another foe. I parried just in time, but could feel the axe whistle past my arm. If you stopped it, why did it whistle? Care punched them. Make a fist. What? The axeman swung again. I ducked, then charged forward, bringing up my left hand. Like this. And I contacted my opponent's cheek, causing him to stumble back. Pain shot through my arm, and it took all my effort not to drop my sword and cradle my poor hand. Well, no shit. You just punched a guy in the face. Like that.
Bring it.
Right. Kara delivered a hearty punch this time and sent his opponent flying. He glanced at his fist in bafflement and smirked appeared on his lips. Not bad, I could get used to this. As Kara jumped into the fray with Fook, I could hear Ilmari apologizing loudly. A burst of water streamed forth from his hands, toppling someone who tried to run up to him.
Take this!
4 down, 4 to go. A few men that had gone back up were now second-guessing themselves, while the more stubborn ones tried round 2. As I engaged in another sword fight, stepped back and felt my shoulder bump into someone. Glanced up in the heat of battle and spotted Care, who looked down at me. The heat of battle, that reminded me. I assure you the spell won't wear off from my clothes. Just in battle, I don't want to look back and see you stark naked. Hey. Ha 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 ha. Before we could stop ourselves, we burst out laughing, causing the challengers surrounding us to look perplexed, even alarmed and scared.
Please stop!
Please stop! Why are you two laughing? Help me! Ilmari retreated to the other side of the carriage as he struggled to conjure a spell. Care, still chuckling, knocked another man out and darted around the carriage while I was locked with the second to last foe standing. Yeah! I riposted, but he blocked my sword, and I retaliated with a swift kick to the stomach, and he stumbled back. His eyes darted over to his fallen comrades as he slowly backed away. I pointed my sword at him, and he hastily disappeared to the forest, leaving his partners behind. Perfect timing. I could feel my focus spell starting to wear off. Coward. A high-pitched scream came from the carriage, and I turned to see that the door was open. One of the armed men was escaping with a box. Ah! No!
Bring it.
Bring it. Not while I'm around. He slammed the ground with his fist, causing the whole place to shake. I knelt down, covering my head as my sword clattered harmlessly onto the soil. My knees felt like they had been liquefied, and I had to use one hand to support myself. I couldn't move, and each shock only reinforced the terror.
Please stop!
Care! Please stop! Cease this at once! Did Auralee notice I was scared? The man tripped from the jolts. I hope so. And the box flew out of his grip. It hit the rocky terrain with a crash and caused the latch to open. Forced myself to stand up, but I was unnerved from the tremors. Each step felt wobbly. Care focused on the almost thief, who disappeared into the woods. By the time I got to the fallen object, Ilmari was already scooping the items back into their coffer. I saw a few feathers sticking out. Perplexed by the wares, I reached out for the box, but Ilmari slammed it shut with his face pale white. Ilmari? Phew, closed it. It would have been unfortunate if it got damaged. It was intact?
Of course.
Of course, yes. Nothing seems to be broken. He gave me a strange smile. Right. Care chased off the remaining conscious opponents, and I carefully stepped around the supine ones. A few groans were emitted, but they probably wouldn't be up for a while. Mari handed the box to me, as if eager to get rid of it. Thanks, I'll return this to Mr. Omond. I hastily approached the vehicle and placed the box on the seat. Frightened merchant glanced up warily. We chased them off, whoever they were. He clutched the coffer, cradling it in his lap. Did you see what was inside? No, but I'm sure the contents are safe. Closed the door and promptly asked the coachman to resume driving. Sheathed my sword, then rubbing my throbbing left hand, ready my rash display before. Then again, It wasn't like I had the time to explain a punch. Kara caught on quickly. As we walked, I could feel the adrenaline rush leave me and fatigue crept up. I suddenly realized that my hand was broken. I didn't think I'd have to do something like that so soon. I looked up to gauge the boys' expressions to see how they were faring. Kara was positively beaming. Even every strut screamed of his triumph. Imari had become oddly quiet, and he appeared lost in thought. Bro, you saw some shit. Tell me what was in that box. Imari was still ruminating, and I paused until he got up. You okay? You looked like you saw some shit in that box. You haven't looked so well after the fight. It's not something you're used to? He gave a weak smile, but averted his eyes.
Well...
It's not that, He fidgeted and rubbed his upper arm and contemplated something. You can talk to me if you want. It's just, Auralee, do you know what the merchant was carrying with him?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. No, I don't. I admit I should have asked, but I was too focused on getting to Oliver. So you don't know? No. You saw some shit, right? The dark cloud of ambivalence that seemed to cling to him vanished instantly. He sighed in relief.
Of course.
Of course. Oh, I see. Almari, what is it? And don't say it's nothing. When people say it's nothing, that usually means it's something. I looked at him beseechingly, and he squirmed under my stare. I could tell he was wrestling with his answer. You're right. There is something nagging at me, but I don't want to be jumping to conclusions at this point. I'm sorry. Can I think about it and tell you later? I don't want to hide things, but I don't want to openly speculate unless I'm certain about something. Is that acceptable? I pondered for a moment.
Yeah.
It is. Thanks for not being completely evasive. But I do want to be told eventually, so I demand to see... Should I demand to see what's inside the box? He shook his head. Let's focus on the task at hand. You're right. You were ordered to supervise care. We shouldn't sidetrack. Then let's get this carriage safely to Oliver and get paid! He beamed productively. Pay, money, that is given for goods and received. Services provided or work done. Ha 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 ha. You sure picked up this quickly. And for a while I was worried.
I promise.
Promise I won't be trouble. I want to be useful. Thanks, Amari. I leaned in, lowered my voice to a whisper. There's no one else following us now, right? We're safe. I'll be sure to tell you from now on if I hear something out of the ordinary. You know, like a group of people that are trying to kill us. And now I have no water because I spilled it all over my desk and my floor. Phew. And onward it is. To adventure! In a few days, we were riding in Oliver. I adjusted my bag and I thought about the leather, eager to reach the guild. Chapter 5. I wanna be a knight. I wanna be a knight. Like no one ever was. Halt! State your business! Cargo delivery from Merchant Ventures. I half expected some questioning, but the name seemed to carry enough weight, and the guard simply nodded in order for the gate to be raised. When that was happening, I approached the client, who gave me a small pouch of coins. As per our agreement, I grinned and accepted the payment, resisting the urge to check. Was it rude if you counted the money in front of your client? Heaviness seemed appropriate as my fingers gripped the bag.
Thanks!
Thanks! I'm glad you arrived safely. Take care!
Wow.
And the carriage rolled away. Wow! I noticed that Karen and Amari were standing around gawking at the thick city walls. Well, shall we get going? They broke out of their trance, and Amari's eyes shone radiantly while Kara tried to hide his stupefaction. There is a T in that word. Please straight try to be with me. Please try to stay with me. No wandering off. Tucked the pouch into my belt, and I quietly followed, soaking in the sights as we entered the city. First, we strolled easily through the wide streets, which had many carts and carriages passing by. Eventually, the crowds thickened, forcing us to slow down. I could see the two dragons getting a few curious stares, but everyone seemed to be too busy with their own schedules to pay too much attention. No, there were no more than passing glances. If it were more unusual, I'm sure people would have stopped and commented. You know, like a third eyeball? That more? I was in that I spotted one person with ears similar to Care's, so it was true that there were more dragonkind here. At the plaza, there was a large platform with carnival feats on display. A fire eater launched a flame and the crowd awed and applauded accordingly.
The hell?
Wait, I didn't know Heavenkind could breathe fire. What is this trickery? How does this work? Can anyone learn it? It's an illusion. It only appears like that because he extinguishes at the right time. Come on, this way. As we zigzagged, Amari abruptly stopped, and I nearly bumped into him. Amari?
Wow.
Who is calling? That was kind of important. Sorry about that. Alright. He had... Where were we? He had just found... Where's my... Hold on. Where the hell... Okay, so I just moved off. Here it is! I found it! Do I have a different mouse pad I can use? Because that one's wet. Bam. Place that's not gonna stand up, is it? There. Mouse pad. I know I have one in here somewhere. Bam! I'll use the navy one. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of all who threaten it. It has a nice sub on it, and it's holographic. It's pretty cool. Alright. Anyways. But it makes no... I don't use it because it makes noise when you move your hand around on it. So that's why I don't use it. Alright. He had found a glass blowing shop. Alright, let's stay focused. Glass blowing shop with an open front. One of the artists was molding a transparent blue bubble through the blow tube. Suspended all around the store were glass blown ornaments. Below, rainbow vases sparkled in the sunlight. Ilmari gasped in wonderment. Look, gasp!
That is so amazing.
That's phenomenal. Amazing. How are they able to create something so beautiful? There are so many colors. He took a step forward, but I quickly pulled on his braid, then on Care's hair because he was waddling towards the pastry shop.
Stay focused.
Stay focused! We'll never get to the Argent Valere Guild at this rate. Come on. But I want to see. They have apple tarts though. But apple tarts. You can check out the glass shop later, and Care will get cavities if you keep eating those. Enough dilly-dallying. We have somewhere to go, and I want to get there now. At least both of them, after they promised they wouldn't run off, and I made sure they stayed close. Fortunately, the guild was located in a quieter part of town between the church and public gardens. Care looked quizzically up at the headquarters, which proudly displayed an embossed sign.
The hell?
The hell? This doesn't look like an altar.
Whoops, sorry about that.
Whoops, sorry about that. This is just a small side trip, promise. Clapped my hands together and gave a little bow, closing one eye. Something I really need to do first. I'd love to have you come in with me, but they probably don't allow just anyone. So can you two please not wander off? I'll treat you to all of the glass shops and apple tarts you want after.
I promise.
Promise. Fine. I sighed but was relieved that at least one of them was obedient. Besides, even if there are dragonkind here, you might attract too much attention. And I won't be there to protect you if something bad happens. Don't worry about us. We'll be over there. He pointed to the garden, which consisted of shady trees and benches scattered around pretty flower beds.
Thanks.
Thank you. Click clack. I fished out the letter and eagerly entered the building. Okay. Inside, everything seemed more normal than I anticipated. It reminded me of the lobby of an inn or shop. There was a large board with various scribbled reports pinned to the cork. A few knights with authentic-looking badges walked by, giving me only a passing glance.